What up, what up, what up, what up, family? What up, what up? You see the title. We talking about breaking generational curses, man. We talking about not just breaking generational curses, but breaking generational curses in marriages. Man, we know marriages are under attack right now, man. We know that a lot of things we're seeing in our marriage have things that have been passed down from one generation to the next. So we're going to get into today, man, how to really show up and really break those things and why it's so important to deal with the things that are going on in our marriage so that we can have a healthy and thriving marriage. My wife and I are marriage mentors. My wife and I talk all the time about how to cultivate a healthier and thriving kingdom driven marriage because we knew what it took to get there because we didn't always have a healthier and thriving marriage. I was, whoo, marriage was rough. I was a terrible husband. There's no other way to put it. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to dress it up. I'm not going to try to make it sound soft and convenient. So right now we on here today talking about how that, about creating a healthy and thriving marriage. And it starts with breaking generational curses. It starts with breaking these patterns of beliefs and behaviors that are showing up in our marriage and causing a bunch of disruption, causing a bunch of distractions. Um, causing hard times and challenges, man. So that's what we on here talking about today, man. Just breaking these generational curses, man. We're talking about the things that are attacking the bloodline. So what's going on, Tori? What's up, Rob? What's going on, Miss Lisa? Lisa, what's up, family? We only talking about everything healthier and thriving kingdom-driven marriages. More importantly, we're talking about breaking generational curses. Like, what do you need? Like, what you need to do if you want your family blessed, if you want, your marriage, your kids, your grandkids. Like, it doesn't start with with counseling and conflict resolution. I'm gonna be honest with you. When it comes to breaking generational curses, when it comes to having a healthy and thriving marriage, when it comes to your family being blessed from top to bottom, when it comes to this legacy that we are called to create, right? When it comes to your marriage, when it comes to your kids, your grandkids, like your legacy, it doesn't start with counseling. It doesn't start with conflict resolution. It doesn't start with those things. It starts with a healthy fear of the Lord. That's simple. What's up, Loretta? What's going on? Yeah, it starts with a healthy fear of the Lord. Like, it's that simple. Like, it's that simple, right? It's that simple. Like, we talking about legacy here. We're talking about legacy. We're talking about how to have that healthy and thriving marriage to the point where your marriage is so healthy and it's thriving that it impacts your children. It impacts the generations to come. Hey, what's going on? Yeah, Loretta, she's with a client. Well, with a client right now. So I'm on her dolo. Just thought I'd jump on and go live, man. Just some things that was God was impressing upon me to talk about. We hear so much about generational curses and what that looks like, and we know that they're real. We know they wreak havoc. But I just want to talk real briefly about how to break them things, man. Like how to move past these things that are showing up in the marriage that have been passed down. And I want to be real. Like, you aren't listening right now. It's only a handful right now, but I want to be honest. I want you to think about how many healthy and thriving marriages you've seen in your life growing up as a child, like from friends, family, like close relatives, like how many healthy and thriving. And let's look at healthy. Okay, I wanna define healthy and thriving. Healthy does not mean they didn't have challenges. Healthy does not mean there wasn't any conflict. Healthy does not mean there wasn't anything negative going on. That doesn't mean, no. Healthy does not mean how long they were together. Healthy does not equate a lot of years, okay? Because I knew people who married 20, 30 years, and it was like a jail sentence. So thank you, Loretta, for all the likes. I truly appreciate you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, Also, if this is your first time, man, welcome, welcome, welcome to the movement. This is a Reclaim the Restored Marriage movement. So I want you to think, how many healthy marriages have you seen? Can you count them on one hand? Can you count them on two hands? Is it two hands and both feet? Like, I want you to think about how many healthy and thriving marriages. Healthy mean that they was able to deal with conflict. They was able to communicate effectively. That they were in love. You seen the love. You seen the fruits Marriages that were healthy, like, you know what, I seen that's what I want marriage to be like, thriving, like they were productive, they were producing fruit, their family was doing well, kids, not on paper and not material things, but I mean, you seen joy, you seen happiness, you seen, and not just happiness from the standpoint happy wife, happy life, or anything like that, no, but happiness within their children, like you seen the fruit that they were producing, meaning like you saw intimacy. I don't mean just sexually or physically, but I mean like them talking to each other, dating each other, going out. Like, how many marriages have you seen that was just healthy and thriving growing up? I'm gonna wait. Tell me about it. Drop it in the comment. How many you seen that was truly healthy and thriving from your perspective? What's up, pretty eye? From your perspective, how many healthy and thriving marriages have you seen growing up? So while you're thinking about that, seeing three. Okay, Loretta, three. Yeah. I think I seen one as a child growing up. One. And I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm gonna be honest with you. The healthy and thriving marriage I seen, I didn't recognize that it was healthy and thriving up until recently. Because I actually thought the man was whooped. He was a chump. He was a sucker. And it was my, I told him this recently. I thought he was soft because he wasn't doing the things that I seen other married men do. Right? Think about how deep that is. We're talking about generational curses, right? We're talking about how to break them. So I wanted to find generational curses, their spiritual strongholds, their patterns of dysfunction that's passed down through bloodline. And some people are so functionally dysfunctional in their marriage. But these spiritual strongholds and these patterns of dysfunction are addiction, adultery, abuse, poverty, pride, faithful, fatherlessness. Think about it, right? So for me, I didn't know that this marriage was healthy and thriving because I didn't have understanding of what a true healthy and thriving marriage was. Like seriously, I thought my aunt's husband, my uncle, I thought he was soft. I thought he was whipped. I thought he was henpecked. I thought he was a sucker. I'm gonna be honest with you. I really did. Cause I'm like, yo, he ain't doing nothing that I seen, right? He was a good man. He was a good father. He went to work every day. He ain't had no outside women. He, you know what I'm saying? Not that they didn't have challenges, but he was home every day. He was taking care of his family, his kids. They had 4 kids, beautiful kids. The fruit they were producing in their children, their children are all successful and finding a way. They have all adult children now. And back in the day, I thought he was just a chump. I thought he was soft. Because what I seen for men, let me tell you what I seen in marriage, right? This was my definition of a good marriage. Now it's dysfunctional. It's a generational curse. What are generational curses? Spiritual strongholds, the patterns of dysfunction, addictions, adultery, abuse, poverty, pride, fatherlessness, right? My idea of a good marriage, of a healthy and thriving marriage, right? I'm ashamed to say this now. Not ashamed, but it's funny to say this, right? My ideal of a good marriage was to have a great woman at home that took care of the home while the man was out doing his thing in the street, as long as he didn't bring anything home. Yeah. That was my idea of a healthy and thriving marriage because that's all I seen from my dad, my granddad, some of my uncles, the men that I admired. To me, that was a healthy and thriving marriage. Get good loving from your lady, woman cooking, taking care of you, cleaning. I watched my mother. My mother, she worked, but my mother was she took care of her home. She took care of my dad. She took care of her kids. Like my mother, when she really got herself together. Oh, Gifty, what's going on, stranger? But my mother, I watched her work. She was always a professional lady. Work, took care of the home. She can cook her. Not, everybody think their mama cooking is good. No, but my mama can really cook. You understand what I'm saying? But I watched my dad. My dad was a serial cheater. My dad was abusive. My dad was caught up in addiction. My dad had a lot of pride, and there was a lot of fatherlessness. But when they were together, they were together. And I watched my mother take care of my father, take care of her three boys, go to work, come home, cook, clean, make sure my dad was straight, make sure my dad had whatever he needed, right? And I know I watched my dad run the streets. My mom knew my dad was running the streets. They fought about it a lot. You know what I'm saying? My dad was a ladies' man. He was a womanizer, right? So I had uncles, my granddad, you know what I'm saying? Like people that and my granddad was like my father. He was the closest, like that was my guy, man. Oh man, that was my guy. Right. I miss that man. He's in heaven right now. But yeah, he got himself together. He accepted the Christ later on in life. Yeah. But he's in heaven right now. And later on in life he told me about, ways to be a better man. But growing up I seen my granddad. Like it was just evident, right? So when I seen a healthy thought, when I seen the man who wasn't doing that, like, oh, this dude is sucker. This dude weak. This dude soft. Like, but what I didn't realize is I was seeing patterns of dysfunction. I was seeing generational curses passed down. What I was seeing, it wasn't healthy and thriving. What I was seeing was things that was like I seen marriages that was broke, busted, and disgusted. I seen marriages that wasn't aligned with God's will and way. Like, please understand that generational curses just aren't passed down through actions. They pass through alignment or misalignment with God. See, I didn't see my dad serving the Lord. I didn't see my granddad serving the Lord. I didn't see my other uncles serving the Lord and walking in the Lord's will and way. Now, my one uncle who I thought was soft, I seen him in church. Like, not that he was, overly active, but I seen him lead his family to church. I seen him go to work every day, come home, take care of his family. Wasn't out in the streets, wasn't out clubbing, drinking, smoking, won't doing them things. Not that he didn't have a past and have a history, but I'm just saying he won't doing them things. And I thought it was soft. I thought that was the worst thing ever, right? But I want you guys to understand something, right? When it comes to these generational curses in marriage, Loretta, you are on it. I truly appreciate you. Truly appreciate you. Um, when it comes to these generational curses, please understand, man, that this is all biblical, right? And let's go to the Bible so we can put some context behind this concept of generational curses. Exodus 25 says the iniquity of fathers will be visited on the third and fourth generations. Like what our parents do, what they don't do, specifically our fathers, what they do and don't do, it passes on. Like things that we don't address, things that we don't deal with in our bloodline, things that we just rationalize as normal. And like I'm telling you, normal does not mean healthy. We got to get away from normal because things that I seen in my childhood, things that I experienced, they're normal for especially a lot of black kids in black communities. It was normal, but it did not mean healthy. It was normal to hear gunshots. Yes, I'm not gonna lie. It was normal to hear guns. It was normal to see people getting evicted and set out. It was normal. We was evicted and set out several times. Like it was normal to see these things in my community, in my environment, but it doesn't mean it was healthy. So my point is, what I want you to understand is you can't defeat what you won't define. And you cannot break these things that you generalize or you normalize. Like, I want to be real. Do we understand why marriages are under attack? Like, with our whole reclaim and restore marriage movement, we have to remind people all the time. Like, what we do is not really about the husband and the wife. If I'm gonna be honest, right? It's not really about the husband and the wife. What we really do and what we really care about is the next generation to come. That's where our heart is at, is on the babies, the young people. We want a better generation. Guys, we want a better generation. Oh, we want a better generation. But we know that the only way to do that is starts in the home. My wife and I, we've been educators. We worked in corrections, juvenile corrections for decades. Like we see what happens, what comes from broken homes. We both came from broken homes, but through the grace of God, we was able to, you know, lead a fairly decent life. Even though we wasn't always in line with God's will and way. Um, but what we do is really about creating a better generation. We focus on cultivating healthy and thriving marriages. We focus on reclaiming and restoring marriages so that we can have, better children that can transform schools, churches, community, and the world. That's our main purpose, like to be honest with you. That is our main vision. Healthy and thriving marriages that produce healthy and thriving children that transform churches, communities, school, and the world. We talk all the time about how bad society is and about the things going wrong in society. To be honest with you, it all starts in the home. I don't care who's in government. I don't care who's in the White House. I don't care who's the governor, the mayor. I don't care. Like, yeah, that plays a part thing, but the first line of defense starts in the home with mom and dad. But a lot of people don't want to talk about that. A lot of people don't want to address that. A lot of people don't want to look at what they're passing down through the dysfunction that's going on in their marriages. You have the most influence over your children. And then if you're not doing a good job, if you're not showing up as a husband and wife that God called you to be, the mother and father that God called you to be, then the next and most important influence the next most important influence over your children is the world, is culture. And we do not want culture raising your children. We do not want culture raising our next generation. Like everybody be talking about YNs and we cooked, and I really dislike hearing these terminologies. Yeah, we have a generation right now that is lost, that is struggling. We have a generation that just don't know better. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, and I don't want to go to this deep because I don't want to get in. But like, you got to understand, like things, especially when it comes to the black community, things that we had to deal with, where we had, fatherlessness was planted on us in the black community. We had drugs that, crack cocaine was put into the black community to devastate the black community. We had jobs shipped overseas, devastated the black community. You understand what I'm saying? So there was things put in place that was strictly against the black community to deter, to destroy the black community. So I'm not going to sit there and act like that's not real. I don't care darn who's in the White House and what we want to try to hide, what we want to try not to talk about. No, that's real. That's real. So in our communities, we see a lot of fatherlessness. We see a lot of generational trauma. We see a lot of dysfunction. And that's just what it is. That's the reality of the situation. But at the end of the day, it was all rigged. It was all done to destroy families, to destroy homes. So what we're seeing with this generation we're seeing now, with these young kids we're seeing now, with these people, we're seeing a bunch of dysfunction and generational curses playing out in real time. We see children that had to deal with poverty, deal with addiction, that had to deal with sexual abuse, physical abuse, had to deal with poverty, homelessness. Like that's what we're seeing. That's what's running our world right now. Like now, I know this is deeper than a lot of people want to talk about, but like what you do in your home has a direct impact on what goes on in culture and society. Like it's bigger than just you and your husband or you and your wife. If y'all produce kids, you are responsible for what for the next generation. You are responsible for leading and loving your children and your family the proper way. You look at what are you producing in your marriage? What is your marriage producing right now? And let's be real. I want you to think about that. What is your marriage producing? Like if we're going to have healthy and thriving marriages, family, it starts, it starts, it starts in the home. And what do I mean it starts in the home, right? Healthy and thriving marriages start with vertical alignment with God. Like it starts with people walking in the will and the way of the Lord. Like that's where it starts. I'm not telling you what I read. I ain't telling you I'm telling you what I know. I'm telling you what my wife and I walk through. Like family, when things started changing in our lives and in our marriage and our families, when we got back in alignment with God's will and way. I lied to you not. I was reading John 1 yesterday. My wife and I are working through the entire Bible. We're both in the New Testament. Like we do our own couples Bible study every night where we're in the Bible in a place in the Bible together. But we also have our individual walk with the Lord and talk with the Lord where we have intimacy with the Lord, right? So yesterday, I usually read about 4 chapters a day just on my own individual time with God, right? So, I'm just starting John and I get into John 1 and I plan on reading John 1 through 4. And I did not make it past John 1. Man, Jesus showed up and wrecked me. Like I had an encounter with Jesus yesterday reading John 1 and it wrecked me. And I was so emotional. I cried and just it was deep, man, because what it had me to think about is my testimony. It had me to think about where I was and what Jesus did for me and where he brought me from. It had me go back and revisit deliverance and how God saved me. Like Jesus showed up and saved me from that cunning, baffling, and powerful disease of sex addiction. Saved my life, saved my marriage. And I couldn't think about I couldn't stop thinking about how good Jesus is. Like I couldn't think about what he did for me, how he saved me, and how generational curses were broken with me, with my wife. I could not, like I lost it. Like I was a wreck yesterday. I cried I was weeping. I was weeping because I had an encounter with Jesus yesterday, and I couldn't thank him enough for just how good he was and how he delivered me. And where I am now, man, to be where I am now compared to where I was, man, it's totally different. Like God's word is true. I'm a new creation in Christ. I'm no longer who I used to be because I'm born again. And that all started with me coming back into alignment with God's will and way, submitting, yielding, like having a healthy fear of the Lord. I want you guys, like, if you have your Bibles, man, and you want to know, like, one of my anchor verses is Psalms 128. Thank you, thank you, thank you for that. Yeah, one of my anchor verses is Psalms 128. And I want you to just read Psalms 128 because that breaks down that gives you the blueprint of how we're supposed to operate in our family, right? Like that gives you the blueprint, you know what I'm saying, of what it's supposed to look like when it comes to our family. And when I say the blueprint, like I'm like, yo, it's the blueprint for generational blessings, you know, for obedience that activates overflowing. Like it breaks it down from the individual person to the marriage to the family to the church to the legacy. Like it's only 6 verses. Psalms 128 is 6 verses, but that is the blueprint to breaking generational curses in your marriage. That is the blueprint for a healthier and thriving marriage. That is the blueprint. And it all starts with God. It all starts with our vertical alignment. Before we can break any generational curses, before we can do anything horizontally between husband and wife, we got to move vertically. We got to get back into alignment with God's will and way. And I say this a lot, and except for my homegirl Loretta, which I truly appreciate. This don't get a lot of likes. This don't get a lot of follows. This don't get a lot of, what I mean, a lot of traction because I'm talking about personal responsibility in your marriage. I'm not on here giving feel good messages. I'm not on here to tickle your ears and talk sweet to you and make you feel good about your dysfunction. Nah, nah. We ain't doing that. Like I'm on here to call you out. I'm on here to call you up. And I'm here to call you back into alignment with God's will and way. It's that simple. It's that simple. Like I know what my message is. I know what my mission is. I know what God purpose me and my wife to do. And it's not always going to be soft, cute, and cuddly because this thing is real. We got families being destroyed because of selfishness between husband and wife. We got families being destroyed because we got too many husbands serving their flesh, too many wives serving their own flesh. We have too many people right now that are focused on feeling good instead of doing what's good for them. I know that's not easy to hear. That's not easy to hear. I get it. See, but it's a big difference between, and I talk to people all the time, right? Oh, yeah, I talk to people all the time about I'm sorry, I just had a text message come through and I was looking at it. Yeah, I talk to people all the time, right? About where they are in their marriages, about what it means to be the difference between being a believer and being a follower. And there's a big difference. And we can tell who believes in Jesus and we can tell who follows Jesus. And I want you to think about it right now. Are you a believer in Jesus? Or are you a follower? Think about it. Like I want you to really, really think about if you're a believer or if you're a follower. And if you want, what I'm saying, I can break it down for you. But I want you to think, like, real quick. I really want you to think hard about that. Are you a believer or are you a follower? And the question is, like, do you know the difference? Do you know the difference between being a believer in Christ and a follower of Christ? Now, I like for you guys to talk back to me. Tori, Loretta, Everly, I believe that's how you say it. Everly, what do you believe? Are you a believer? Or are you a follower? I'm gonna wait. I want to see answers, and then I'm gonna break down the difference between a believer and a follower. Which one do you think you are? Are you a believer or are you a follower? And it's no judgment. It's no judgment. Like, I'm not judging you, but I want to tell you, like, that's really the difference between where we are in our marriages, and that's the difference between the fruit that we are producing. Believer or follower. Anybody gonna comment? Okay, I'm a follower. Okay, Everly, I like that. I like that. I'm a follower. That's great. I thank you, Everly. I like that. I'm a follower. Okay, follower. All right, so I'm gonna break down what that looks like. The difference between being a believer and being a follower. Anybody else? Any more brave souls? Any more brave souls? Any more brave souls? When it comes to your walk with the Lord, are you a believer or are you a follower? Knock it off. I'm sorry, my dog's ready to act up. Yeah. Okay. To follow, take. There we go, Averly. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Averly. Yeah. Well, that basically sums it up right there. To be a believer, I mean, to be a follower is to basically take action. Yeah, that basically sums it up right there. To take action. We got a lot of people that are just, they say, I believe in the Lord. You know what I mean? That I follow. I believe in Jesus. They're on this walk, but to actually be a believer is one thing. Everybody who calls themselves a Christian, who calls themselves saved or born again, yeah, they are technically believers, right? But a follower, because that's what we're called to be, not just a believer. We are called to believe, right? We're called to believe, but not just believe in. There's a difference between that too. You can believe in, but that doesn't mean you really believe. To believe means we're taking action. To follow means that we are picking up our cross. We are denying ourselves and we're following Christ. following Christ's example. We are walking in the fruit of the Spirit. We are walking with compassion and passion, and gentleness and kindness and love. Like we are truly, I'm sorry, I have another message coming through. Um, okay. My apologies about that, family. Yeah. Yeah, moment by moment. You understand what I'm saying? It's moment by moment. I'm denying myself. Like I'm denying my flesh. I'm not doing what feels good. I'm doing what's good for me. Based on not what I think is good for me, because the word tells us not to lean upon our own understanding, but based upon what God's will and way is. Like I'm able to deny myself. Like I'm following Christ because I'm living this Christ-like life. I'm denying myself. I'm picking up my cross. I'm not making decisions based on what I feel in the moment. I'm not making decisions based on what culture says is cool, or I'm not letting culture drive me. I'm not letting the world influence me. No, I'm influenced by the word of the Lord, by the living word of the Lord, living and breathing word of the Lord. So I'm a follower of Christ because I'm going against the grain. I'm doing what God is calling me to do. I'm loving my neighbor. First of all, I'm loving the Lord God with all my heart, all my mind, all my soul, right? And I'm loving my neighbor like that too. I'm showing up to serve. I'm showing up to advance God's kingdom agenda. Like if you're a follower of Christ, I need you to think about what are you doing day in and day out. And let's look in your own sphere of influence. And that is your marriage. That is your family. What are you doing to advance God's kingdom agenda in your marriage and family? I'm not talking about your extended family. I'm not talking about your siblings, mother. No, I'm talking about your husband or your wife and your children. What does you being a follower look like? What about your actions show that you know what? I'm a follower of the Most. I follow Jesus. I'm just not a Christian, but I follow Christ. Think about that. And I know I'm going a little deep. I wasn't even supposed to be on this long. I really wasn't. I really wasn't. I know I'm going a little deep right now. But I want you to think about that. Loretta, you are a rock star. I truly appreciate you. Everly, I truly appreciate you. All the likes, the shares. We're gonna go more in depth on this tomorrow on the podcast. So be sure to join us on the Reclaim and Restored Marriage podcast, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Right now, I want you to be real with yourself. If you know that right now your marriage is not healthy and thriving the way it should, your marriage is not reflective of God's design. Right now, you don't have deeper intimacy, joy, peace, or fulfillment in your marriage. Know right now you're unhealthy, unproductive, and unfulfilled. Reach out to us then. You don't have to suffer in silence and isolation. You don't have to keep struggling the way you are. Things don't have to keep going this way. I'm sorry, guys, if you hear that noise. My lawn care people just came. I ain't think I thought he comes on Saturday mornings. I don't know how he got here on a Wednesday, but my apologies about that. Let me know if it's too loud or if you guys can still hear me. Give me a thumbs up or something. Let me know if you guys can still hear me. All right, Everly, thank you. So, like I said, if you're stuck and struggling in your marriage, things are not the way you want it. You know, you tried everything else, things just ain't working. Reach out to us. I'm a pin. I'm gonna try to pin my contact form up here right now, so that I thought I could. I don't know what happened. It used to be to pin my contact form up there. I don't know, like seemed like everything froze. But yeah, so I'm gonna see what I can do. But if you're struggling in your marriage, go ahead and reach out. I'm also going to drop in the comments. I'm also going to drop in the comments the link to our book, our ebook, Shattered Vows, When the Vows Are Shattered. So I want you to check that out. Just copy and paste that link. You can just copy and paste it. I just pinned. If you want to reach out and talk, you want to get some clarity on where you are currently, really see what's working, what's not working, if and how my wife and I can help you. I just pinned it up there to send us direct message. Like the biggest thing I want you to understand is a lot of things that we're up against, man, is things that were passed down from generation to generation. And we are responsible for breaking, we're responsible for cultivating health. Can no one else do it for us? We have to take personal responsibility in it, and that starts with our vertical alignment with the Lord. That starts with like marriage is I think I'm back now. I don't know what happened, but it was killing me, right? And I said, I can't do it anymore. And I cried out to the Lord, and He met me right there where I was in all my pain and my misery, my dysfunction in the addiction. God met me where I was and He saved me. Oh my gosh. He reclaimed me and restored me. That's why that's the name of our marriage movement and ministry, reclaimed and restored, because that's what God did. He reclaimed what the enemy tried to steal. The enemy was trying to steal me. Remember, the enemy only comes to rob, kill, and destroy, right? So the enemy tried to steal, rob, kill everything that God wanted to do with me, through me, in me, and for me, right? And He reclaimed me. And I mean, reclaimed me. And then He restored me back to His original design. When I say restored, like He took me back to where I was supposed to be. He restored me to what He's seen in me. He restored me back to my identity in Him, not my pain, not my circumstances, not my unresolved trauma. None of that. No, He reclaimed and restored me back to His original design, His purpose for me, to His joy. And man, I've been rocking and rolling like ever since. Ever since. Ever since. Like I went from being just a believer, someone who accepts the truth about Christ and His divinity, His death, the sins, resurrection. Like I went from being just a believer who, yeah, I understand Christ. I went from being a believer to a follower, to a disciple. I just didn't believe, but I aligned my life with Jesus' teaching, His mission, His example. I learned to be obedient. There was transformation and surrender. Like I learned to be an imitator of Christ's life and mission. That's what God did for me. When I gave up everything that I was, everything that I was doing, when I acknowledged that I couldn't do this anymore, and He reclaimed and restored my life, I began to see myself the way God sees me. I began to walk in my full identity. I began to be the man that God called me to be, created me to be, the husband that He called and created me to be, the business owner that He called and created me to be. And hold real quick now, I'm not going to front. Being a follower of Christ is not easy. Please don't think that, what I mean, that, oh, it was just sunshine and rainbows. Oh, it was a painful transformation. It was a painful transformation. I went through withdrawal from pornography, from sex, from women. Like I went through withdrawal. I'm gonna be honest with you. It was ugly. You would have thought I was withdrawing or detoxing from from a substance. Like it was bad. But I knew my way wasn't working anymore. I knew it. And because of that, man, like God, He delivered me, like He transformed me. Because I just didn't change what I did. Like a lot of times, we talk to our mentees all the time about behavior modification. What's up, Ulysses? We talk to our mentees all the time about behavior modification, right? Behavior modification is changing what you do. Okay, I'm gonna stop doing this and I'm gonna start doing that. Nah, it's not. Nah, that's temporary. We're looking for spiritual transformation. That means we got to change who you are at your core and the way you see yourself in your circumstances, and that is only done through Jesus. That is only done through Jesus. Ulysses, what's going on? That is only done through Jesus. And when I submitted, when I yielded, when I surrendered everything that I am and everything that I am not over to the Lord, man, oh my goodness, God showed up. I can't wait to share with you guys tomorrow night about what God is doing in my life, in my wife and I's life. Like remember the story I told you tonight, who I was, where I came from, where God brought me from, a sex addict, a womanizer, adulterer, a betrayer, like just not a good man of the Lord. And when we drop this news on you guys tomorrow, I'm sorry, if you see the red on my hands, my wife had me put me to work the other night. I was helping her dye her hair and ran out of gloves. So, I was in there with this dye. So I'm having a heck of a time. But, you know, anything for my beautiful, lovely wife. Yeah, I'm that guy. I'm that husband. Yep. I make sacrifices. I'm obedient. Yeah, to the Lord, and I show up for my wife. But I love helping her. I do her hair and everything like that. Like that's just so. If part of it's walking around, and it was worse than this, like it's gone. But if it was like all this was red, you know what I'm saying? So part of it means walking around with red hands for a minute for me to show up and serve my wife in the way that she needs me to. I had red hands. That it's not toxic. It ain't gonna kill me. People ask questions. Oh, I just dye my wife's hair for her, helping her dye her hair. Yep, yep. That's what it is. I love my lady. Like I love her, and I'm gonna show up for her every single day because I know what it is not to show up for her. God didn't save me to operate in my pride and my ego. God did not save me to walk around trying to beat on my chest. First of all, no, I'm not a weak man. I'm not a passive man. I am a kingdom driven man. I lead and love my wife with the authority, dominion, and power that God put in me. But I do not rule over my wife. She is my helpmate. She is my crown. She is the reason that I have favor from the Lord because the word says a man who findeth a wife findeth a good thing and favor from the Lord. She is my anchor when I need her. She keeps me in place and not running out of God's will. But she's also my rocket fuel when I need her. When I'm stuck in the wrong soil, stuck in the wrong situation, stuck in under when life is lifing, she knows how to sprinkle that rocket fuel on me to have me shoot off into the atmosphere so I can continue to move in the way God wants me to move. And I thank God for her. Like, and that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow, the importance of your marriage, because I want you to understand something. You cannot be everything that God created you to be outside of God's will and way and outside of your marriage. I'm gonna be honest with you, your marriage is bigger than just, oh, I'm in love. Your marriage is supposed to make you holier and have you moving higher in the Lord's calling for your life. That's what marriage is really for. Your spouse is to complete you, and you are to complete your spouse. That is your counterpart. That is the person that you're supposed to walk through this earth with. That is who God designed for you to be with. It's like if I couldn't. This was God's plan for me to be with who I'm with, for me and my wife to be together. I couldn't have did this. Man, when I see my wife, all I saw was this tall, thick chocolate lady who had a wagon. She had a booty on. I'm like, oh yeah. I was looking at her in the physical, but God said, oh nah, son. It's deeper than this. It's deeper than I saw them dimples, pretty skin, pretty teeth, tall. I called her my tall booty. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, I'm very real. I'm very candid. Like, yeah, we real. Like, but God, hey man, Jeremiah 29:11, for I know the plans I have for you. Where I thought it was a physical thing, this was something spiritual. This woman has helped me be the best version of myself. It is because of her where I am right now. And in turn, I helped her become the best version of herself. That's what marriage is for. It's not just to make us happy, it's to make us holier and more Christ like and operating in God's will and way. And it sucks at times. I'm not gonna lie to you. We have conflict. It's not easy. Yo, it sucks. It sucks. But we broke generational curses. We are continuing to break generational curses. We are operating God's will and way. Family, I gotta get ready to go because my phone is overheating. Because I got it sitting on my vent on my computer, right? So I gotta get ready to go. But don't forget to join us tomorrow night at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I put the link in for the book. I'm gonna put it in again in case you missed it. Grab the book When the Vows Are Shattered. If you're having challenges in your marriage, this is something you can get started on today. today. Ulysses, I'm gonna put you on the spot real quick. I hope you don't mind, Ulysses. Ooh, yeah, my phone really hot. I'm gonna put you on the spot, Ulysses. Real quick, just share something positive about your experience of being in the program with my wife and I right now. I'm gonna put you on the spot. Oh, lost it. What's good, baby? Hi, be safe, right? Yep. What up? This is my family right here. This my wife. This is my baby mama, Stacy, and this is Khalil. Our family. With that. What up? This is my family right here. This my wife. This is my baby mama, Stacy, and this is Khalil. Our family. From obeying your help or get rid of it. It's no good. That's why God have to take people out of our. I'm on the line, baby. I'm on the line. What are you doing? No. Y'all excuse my husband. Excuse my husband. He don't know. Lord have mercy. But he's our helper tonight. From obeying your help or get rid of it. It's no good. That's why God have to take people out of our. I'm on the line, baby. I'm on the line. What are you doing? No. Y'all excuse. All right, family, I'm back. I don't know. Like I said, my joint was overheating. I don't know if you guys are able to jump back on, but I'm back. Whole phone shut down my apps and everything like that. But I am back. I don't know why. What's up, family? What's up? Like I got shut down early. Well, not shut down, but my phone was overheating, so I had to um basically shut down, kick me out of all apps and everything like that. So seeing the people jumping back on. What's up, AJW? Our live was interrupted a little bit ago, so just jump back on. We were talking about healthy and thriving marriages. We was talking about everything that was going on with how to cultivate a healthy or thriving marriages, how to break generational curses in marriages. Um, Which is healthy mean that they was able to deal with conflict, they was able to communicate effectively, that they were in love. You've seen the love, you've seen the fruits. Marriages that were healthy, like what I seen. That's what I want marriage to be like. Which is healthy mean that they was able to deal with conflict, they was able to communicate effectively, that they were in love. You've seen the love, you've seen the fruits. Marriages that were healthy, like what I seen. Which is healthy mean that they was able to deal with conflict, they was able to communicate effectively, that they were in love. You've seen the love, you've seen the fruits. Marriages that were healthy, like what I seen. That's what I want marriage to be like. Thriving, like they were productive, they were producing fruit, their family was doing well. Kids, not on paper and not material things, but I mean you seen joy, you seen happiness, you seen. And not just happiness from the standpoint, happy wife, happy life, or anything like that. No, but happiness within their children. Like you seen the fruit that they were producing. Meaning, like you saw intimacy. I don't mean just sexually or physically, but I mean like them talking to each other, dating each other, going out. Like, how many marriages have you seen that was just healthy and thriving growing up? I'm gonna wait. Tell me about it. Drop it in the comment how many you seen that was truly healthy and thriving from your perspective. What's up, pretty average? Is healthy mean that they was able to deal with. Is healthy mean that they was able to deal with conflict. They was able to. Is healthy mean that they was able to deal with conflict. They was able to communicate effectively. That they were in love. You've seen the love. You've seen the fruit.
What's up? Stop it.